So here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome. I am Patrick Bernard Smith, aka President Pat,
And
joined
I'm
with my co-host,
Destiny.
Destiny. This is our very first podcast, Honest Talk with President Pat and Destiny. So, this is going to be a very important milestone for us because, you know, I honestly am excited to talk about this topic. Hypersexuality and unhealed trauma it's kind of a really good starter video because it kind of breaks down the truth and the core of a lot of us. So I'm
Right.
I'm so glad you picked that one, you know.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a topic for our community because, for one, our community thinks things like healing and therapy is taboo, but a lot of us are unhealed and we act
hmm
out of a place from not being healed.
Not sure, right. And I agree because truthfully, I'm glad we're doing a collaboration thing and I'm excited for us in our journey because I'm learning from you, just like I'm sure we exchange different
Right.
things because we have two different paths. And it's just a way of life to know if you're asking for evolution and you're asking for change in your life, you got to be prepared and be willing to do new things. And this is
Correct.
kind of both for both of us. We're putting
Right.
ourselves out here. We're entering the social media world, and
Right.
it's a little scary, but I mean, it's something that we're hoping will get us to a certain place in our life, but also influence other people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm here for
Yeah,
that.
be influential and also doing it, you got to have tough skin because you're giving your opinion and social media is crucial. So
Yeah.
your
Girl.
opinion, they might tear you down over your own opinion. So
Yeah, that topic we're gonna do on that, I'm so ready for that because it's scary. But
right.
today's topic is hypersexuality and unhealed trauma. Now, just to get some context behind it, I do want to read a little bit about what I researched that both of them mean. And honestly, I didn't know much about hypersexuality until we started to do this podcast, but I
Mhm.
knew about unhealed trauma. So
Yeah.
that's familiar territory. But according to resource, it says hypersexuality is a condition characterized by intense, uncontrollable sexual fantasies, urges, or behaviors that causes significant distress or impair your daily life. It is often a symptom of underlying mental health issues, a
Mm.
trauma response, or a side effect of medication rather than a stand-alone diagnosis. Boom.
Right.
There you have it.
Right.
So I think just having context behind what that really means can kind of help anybody who's, probably referencing to their lives. So I think that's a really good point there. But unhealed trauma refers to a past distressing experience that hasn't fully been processed. Instead of being resolved, the mind and body remains trapped in survival mode, leading to chronic triggers, emotional numbness, and unhealthy coping patterns that affect daily lives and relationships. When I
Right.
say that is right, that is right. So, you know, what made you want to talk about this as our first topic for our episode?
Well, I think it's something that was big for me in my life because I definitely had a lot of unhealed trauma.
Mm,
Um, I know after my divorce, I went through a stage where it kicked in horribly. I already had daddy issues. So
girl,
after
girl.
my divorce, going through a divorce, I just kind of went in solitude. But when I
Mhm.
came out, it was like I was still angry. I was still
Right.
resentful. So
Mhm.
at that point, it was just like I didn't mind dating married men.
Mhm.
It didn't matter because
Right.
in my eyes, I was like, well, they did it to me.
Yeah.
So me,
Just
it was just I was in a get back mode with
mhm.
which that's still a unhealthy place. That's unhealed. You
Yeah.
acting out of hurt, which
Mhm.
hurt people hurt people.
We're people, period. That's
So
it's
yeah.
that
So that's
that's
why
so
I felt go ahead, I'm
no,
sorry.
no, you go ahead. Yeah.
So that's just why I felt it was a good subject because I could relate to it so well. So and I think
And
a lot of other people can as well.
that's brave, honestly, of you to even step forward to say that, and I love that. because it does get you into a position to move towards working towards that,
Yeah,
acknowledging, accepting it, being accountable is
right.
important.
That
So
part.
I'm I'm hoping, with us embarking on this new journey and being honest and have an honest talk like we're supposed to do,
Right,
that it's something for us to heal and us to get breakthrough. And then for those who are receiving this and wanting the same thing, I'm
correct.
not talking to the people who are looking to lash out or be stuck in that way. It's
Yeah,
about the progress in the world we live in. Trauma is real.
right,
We have trauma being black. We have trauma being, from a certain part of the area, trauma about being gay. There's
right,
layers and layers of things that really affect people in ways. So if you have one trauma that you've dealt with all your life, that's enough to really drain you and
correct.
have you confused. But if you have trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, who knows how you
Right.
handle things in life and where you belong and how you struggle with relationships. So I think that's a really interesting, interesting topic. So
Yeah.
let's go on and get into it, girl.
Okay.
Let's do this. I want to be as honest as possible because I feel
Absolutely.
like,
That's what we talking about. Honest
what's
talk.
the point? You know, I mean, what are your thoughts on how the trauma affects and pours into like relationships?
I think it's so many ways, but I think the first thing for us is actually recognizing what is trauma because a lot of us go through our day-to-day lives and don't even realize that we're acting out of trauma.
Yeah.
Things that automatically trigger us and we just fly over the edge. So
Yeah.
it's like it's recognizing, but the way it affects relationships,
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I'm
yeah,
open for this conversation. I'll
right.
probably be more of a student this episode, because I looked up another definition, to be honest, as we were doing this episode. Because
Okay.
I'm like, am I hypersexual? Do I have the tendencies? Have I experienced it? And I come across a lot of it. It doesn't feel like that's something I've done or I am.
Mhm.
But I did look up another definition.
Okay.
Hyposexuality is characterized by present deficiencies and absence of sexual fantasies, desires, and sexual activities. So
Mm,
it's pretty much like the opposite. Like you don't think
right.
about sex, you don't cling to it. And I thought, well, maybe I might, but I feel like having a conversation about this will open my eyes more to it.
Right. I definitely can understand that. And it's crazy because for me, it's like that's where I was before I took the leap over the edge. And it was just
Yeah.
like, I really feel like, I don't know. I felt like that was my breaking point. Like I was saying, one thing, not having your dad to implement
Hmm.
that self-esteem into your life, your
Yes.
worth, your value, that holds a lot of weight. So after my second divorce, it was just like, well, I don't care. Like it's like I've tried, well, I felt like I had tried all this time to do the right thing
Hmm.
and I felt like it didn't pay off. So
Hmm.
after my second divorce, it was just kind of like I just went over the edge. It was like, well, I'll date whoever, I'll do whatever. So,
Were you like
but
upset, like about the situation, about the
I
relationship
was
ending,
I
or?
was absolutely upset. I was upset. I was hurt. I was
Mm,
distraught because it was my second marriage. So your second marriage, okay, your first one you might be, okay, we grew apart, it didn't
yeah.
work out. Yeah.
Hmm.
But your second one, it's like this is it. This is gonna work. This is
Right.
my family. So you
Yeah.
start building everything around that family.
Right.
It, and we had kids involved and everything. He had kids, I had kids. So for it not to work, I mean, that even affected my kids. So that's
I
something
bet.
trauma that they have to work through.
Right.
But yeah, it was it was a lot because I just knew it was gonna work. So at that point when it didn't, I actually a year I picked up and moved out of state. I picked
Yeah.
up everything I had and moved out of state. So I went to Arkansas for a year and just I was in solitude. I was depressed. I was on antidepressants for a full year. I probably didn't.
What?
Yeah. And the thing about a different subject, but the thing about antidepressants, it numbs you to everything.
That's what it
To where,
said.
yeah, it's like even things that were funny to me, I couldn't even laugh. It was just I was numb
Not in there.
completely.
Checked out.
Yeah, but I would say it did help me get through that moment because I had so many issues. And I would say at that time I did started working through my some of my issues. But as
Yeah.
far as the divorce, it was like I was learning a lot of things about me. For one, not having my own personality and wrapping myself up into being a mom, being a wife. Like
Mhm.
that was my life. I didn't have a life outside of being a mom
Mm,
or being a wife.
gotcha. Right,
So
right.
when it didn't work, it tore everything down for me. So that was something I had to learn. So I started finding what finding what Destiny
Right,
liked. So
right.
I had to figure out who I was, start learning who I was. So it did take me going over the edge and then me reeling myself back in. Like, okay, for one, loving yourself would be you protecting yourself.
Mhm.
You making sure that you're good,
Yes,
making
girl.
sure you're not like what they say, something that has value, everybody can't get it. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
everybody can get it, then what value
Not so
does it hold?
valuable. Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. So
Yeah,
learning to love yourself means you're you're not giving yourself to everybody. You're exclusive. So
right.
that was one of my main things I had to learn, learning to love myself, which I'm big on that now. I'm big
Yeah.
on my peace
I
now. I'm
see
big
that.
on
I
self
see
love
that.
now. Yeah.
Girl, it's
So
so funny that I met you and at that point in your life because talking to you about this and I'm just looking at you like, where? And it's crazy that you said Alicia because that's how I met you. I know you through Alicia and
right.
I know you're going by Destiny, which is interesting and funny because I'm Patrick Bernard Smith, but I also go by President Pat. And
Yeah.
a lot of both have trauma and I dissociate myself from it so I can kind of
Woo.
understand where you are with that and it makes sense to hear somebody when I hear you talking and I just think about the way you moved and got out of a situation that could have broke you, in a lot of
Right.
ways. And I just feel like that's commendable because a lot of times when people say, I don't want to talk about my trauma because it's too much stress, it's drama, I don't want to make you stressed out about my problem. And
Right.
it becomes something dark and it's like frowned upon. But
Right.
you're never going to get through it because, as you spoke about your father being absent,
Right.
I had too. But that was when I was a kid. But it
Yeah.
still affects me as an adult. It
Right.
affected me as a man. It affected me dealing with my sexuality. And so what I'm saying is that you really shouldn't think too much about the process and how it looks to other people. You have
Absolutely.
to do the work. You know what I mean? Being honest with yourself. Just,
Yeah.
it may be ugly.
Yeah. And I had to get past that part because even me talking about it now,
Yeah.
it would never be me talking about what I went through. And that I mean that's like you say with your father being missing. I think that's a lot of things about trauma in our black neighborhoods because that's another reason why a lot of them gravitate to gangs because the father is missing. They want to be a part of something.
Hmm.
So that's a trauma response
Yeah.
of not having that father figure in your life and you want to be a part of something. You want somebody to instill in you who you are. So
Yeah.
if they call you the shooter, now you got a name, you got a title.
I'm a
So
part
you
of
stand
something.
on that. I'm the
They
shooter.
lean on me. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
part of something that what I do matter because my peoples,
right,
appreciate it, and it's nothing wrong with that. Though the actions are very terrible and scary and dangerous, but you get it. You
right.
understand why people seek for that validation in a way. And
Absolutely.
a lot of times, speaking of words like trauma and even the word I said, validation, it makes it seem like a weak trait. Like, oh, you're looking for validation. You need
Yeah,
approval. It's like, that is not what people are saying. I dealt with something that has stuck with me in a way that
Right.
has questioned who I am. When I was already in the middle of growing up, trying to find myself, this
Exactly.
trauma did nothing but made it worse because I was already struggling, trying to be who I am. Grown adults still
Yeah.
struggle with being
Yeah.
themselves.
Absolutely.
So, can you imagine just old trauma and new trauma and future trauma against that? It's a real thing, and it's sad that people don't want to be honest with themselves and get through that because the way you treat people has a lot to do with your trauma.
Right.
It really does.
Absolutely. A
It
lot of
has,
that built up anger when people always have attitudes,
yeah,
that's from something you're dealing with on the inside. And most of the time it's you not liking who you are as a person. So you project that onto other people
mhm,
because you want them to feel
yes,
bad like you feel
yeah,
bad. So
yeah. And it's like I don't know how you can function that way unless you're numb. That's what
right,
we just spoke about when we
right,
went through the definition of hypersexuality and unhealed trauma about the numbness. Is like some people come to work, example, and it takes them till mid lunch until they're in a good mood. And you
yeah,
work, I come in, cracker early in the morning. Hey, what's up, y'all? Even though you don't know if I had something going on the night before,
right,
that is not my problem to bring to others. But see, people are so in
exactly,
trauma and they're in this cycle that they don't realize it. It's like, I get that you're not up yet. I get that you're a little moody, but
right,
your energy is setting the tone. So
absolutely,
that's not fair. And I get it. Everybody's pace is different. But like you said before, people have to be accountable and
right,
accept what their
yeah,
trauma is and how they're going to get through it.
right.
You know?
And I think that was a major, for one, me learning myself and me choosing to be different. Because
Yes.
you can always say, well, I went through this and I went through this. Even me, like, I had so much even before I got to my divorce, like a whole lot of sexual trauma.
Yeah, yeah.
So before that, and I could hold on to all of that and still use it as, well, that's why I do this, that's why I,
Hmm.
but you have to choose to be a better you. You have to make a decision every day to, okay,
Yes.
no, I'm not going to do that. Oh no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to protect this part of me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, you just run rampant and
Right.
you're just out there. Because it's so many things, like even as far as molestation in kids, like all of that is a build up. And a lot of people have dealt with that in life, and to get to the point where you still feel rejected by somebody who you loved,
Mm,
that can cause a downward spiral.
right.
So it's like that's one of the things important about loving yourself, because at that time I was looking for everything to validate who I was. I'm a wife. A wife validated who I was. I'm
Hmm.
a mother. A mother validated who I was. But
Right.
not just loving me as a person.
Right.
I'm a lovable person. I'm a
Right.
good person. I
Hmm.
deserve love.
You
And I
do.
had to understand that. So all of that was me instilling affirmations in myself.
Yes,
And
sir. Right.
my mother is a big part of that too, because my mother is my number one supporter.
Exactly.
So she's always instilled confidence in me as much as she could. But
Hmm.
as a little girl, you still needed that man figure in your
Yeah.
life instilling that in you, because otherwise you turn outward to different men.
Yeah.
And one of the things it caused me to be a people pleaser,
Yes,
because
girl.
I wanted to be pleasing. I didn't want anybody else to make me feel like they were leaving me,
Right.
abandoning me. So it was always me trying to please people just so they would stay around.
Hmm.
And it wasn't actually me just being me. It was a me being a yes person.
Yeah.
Like, yes, okay, yes, 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 everything. So
Speak on it.
yeah,
Speak
so
on
all
it.
of that had to be healed. And not to say that I'm 100% healed. I'm still working
The
on
work
that.
in
It's
progress.
a daily, yeah, a daily thing. So it's not nothing that you just get past. It's you choosing to be a better you every day. So
Girl, I couldn't have said it better than myself. Was put our names because you literally said exactly what I understand and how I feel, and it's so great to articulate that in a way where you don't feel like, am I crazy? Does anybody else not realize that people are putting their trauma on me because you're not
Right,
ready to deal with your trauma? Like, I, for the life of me, if you know me, if you ever met me, 99% of the time, I'm a happy go lucky person. I'm
right,
nice. I'm just giving what I can. I'll even accept 70% versus my 100% because I'm
right,
just trying, like you said, pleasing people, just being nice,
right,
just to not have confrontation. Even though in the mix of it, the person has a lot of red flags, they're rude, they're disrespectful, they're moody, and it's just kind of like, am I dealing with something that is worth working through, or
mhm,
am I accepting something that is going to bring something out of me?
yeah,
Because everybody got a trigger, you know? You got a trigger, I have a trigger. That 99% of me being nice, and that 1% I snap and I lose it from all the stuff that I haven't dealt with,
right,
makes that 99% look like nothing. And that's
right,
such a difficult thing that I still work with. You know, I
yeah,
feel like I have trauma because I'm on a defense mode in a lot of ways of like not having a father, not knowing how to interact with men, not wanting to be disrespectful.
yeah,
And but also I need to be respected because I
right,
learned from women. Women demand respect. Women work really
right,
hard. And I see that and I know that, and it's kind of like, where do you balance that? You know,
right,
and like you were saying, it just depends on how you choose to move forward in life. If you want to be positive, the outlook in
right,
life, situations are different, and you can choose to sit in that and deal with it accordingly, match the energy, and become the worst version of you, or you
right,
can just find a way out of it and remove yourself. And that's been
right.
a struggle, you know, especially when you're so used to trying to be a good person and pleasing everybody, feeling bad. It's a struggle. So I definitely agree with you on that. You
Yeah.
know.
And that's another thing because I think people who have dealt with trauma like that don't necessarily have boundaries.
Mm,
So that you have to learn to set boundaries because in a way you kind of feel like it kind of makes you feel unworthy in a way.
yeah.
So your boundaries would be no, I am worthy. No, you can't cross this line
Right.
because then you're affecting me.
Right.
So you have to put that in place as a self-love thing because no, you can't. No, this is not going to happen because I don't want it to happen.
Exact.
So,
And that's such an amazing segue into our socially speaking segment. So honestly, I wanted to end this, well, put this into our episode and our show because, you know, a lot of things that happen in the world in social media,
hmm,
there's always something that we can relate to and see in ourselves. And I
right,
decided to talk about, there was a altercation between journalist Torre and another journalist, well, she's
right,
also a life coach, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. About a month ago, they got into a heated altercation on their talk show called Truth Talks Live. And, you know, though ideally, I don't know the specifics because I don't follow any of that drama, but I did see the video and I kind of saw a lot of trauma
yeah,
in some of the conversation. And I kind of wanted to show the video clip and kind of talk about it because there are things in life that we do that we don't recognize are flaws are based off of trauma. So I
right,
didn't want to go into this video and bash Dr. Cheyenne Bryan like everybody's been doing because she called heat. Let me give you a little context. So Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she is, like I said, a life coach, an
uh-huh,
author, but she caught backlash recently because she's using the word doctor and she has no credentials to prove it. And so everybody's like, were you a fraud? And kind of just dragging her through the mud.
yeah,
So she had been dealing with that for a couple of good weeks. So by the time she came on Torre's show, who, by the way, he has his own, you know, show and platform and podcast, and he did cover the topic of her using the word doctor. He didn't say anything nasty. He just kind of gave his opinion.
yeah,
And plus, they worked together for years, so you know they have a relationship. They were talking about gentle parenting and masculinity. and it just took a crazy turn. And I kind of want to show a clip so we can kind of see how it came out, and we'll talk about it after
Okay.
this. Okay.
I'm wrapping the show, and you're interrupting me.
First of all,
This is what we spent a whole meeting on this.
first of all, Teray, first of all, Teray,
why don't you let me wrap the show? I'm ending the show. What is the point of interrupting me? We're getting out of here. Like, what is the point? What is the point? It says go to host up
when you're talking to me. Lower your fucking voice when you're talking to me, because you're acting very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. And this is the problem. Teray, you talk to your wife like that. You don't talk to me like that. I am not your wife. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your wife, gentle. I'm not your wife, softy. Don't talk to me like that. You talk to your wife like that, not me. Correct. Talk to your wife like that. Do not talk to me like that. That is not how you That's not how you professionally approach me. Don't fucking talk to me like that.
Frank and Ariva, I apologize.
That is it.
Check yourself. You don't talk to me like that.
Hold
talk
on,
to your
Doc.
wife like that.
Doc, hold on.
Shut the fuck up talking to me like that. That's what you do. That's what you do.
Okay. So,
You better tap into your gentleness. And
okay. So that there is the clip on what happened with the conversation between Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Torre. Now, here is the problem. People are upset that, and I can attest to this, that she was using terms like softy, feminine, and she was hinting that he's gay. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lead into that because that's still speculation. She never actually said that, but our culture, you know what that is.
Right.
So she was being belittling him and talking about his masculinity, and she also came across very disrespectful because if someone's talking, even if you're in heat of the moment, you don't interrupt and keep cutting them off. So granted, she lost the battle because of how she acted. Now, I wanted to know, based on the video, in your thoughts, what do you think the situation of that might be trauma with her? Because it sounds like she's battling a lot of self-control, and that could be.
And she was extremely triggered because at the beginning he said he was ending the show. So for him to be ending the show and she interjecting, and then now she's just throwing names out, wanting him to give a response, which he never responded in a way where he was name calling her again.
Right.
But she came. So that's definitely a trigger, and I'm sorry, a trauma response. Whatever triggered her, I'm not sure, but she definitely needs to heal. For one, calling yourself a doctor and moving in that manner.
Girl, that's it. That's it. That's it.
You have to remain professional. One thing, I listen to Napoleon Hill a lot, and one thing he'll always say is, he who controls your emotions controls you. And that's true. Like, if somebody can get you to act out of character, that's who has control over you. So it doesn't matter what somebody else does, you still always have to remain composed regardless. And that's something that I have definitely, I'm big on now, and I can say I'm almost mastered it at this point. I still, but yeah, I absolutely do well in that area. But my thing is, if she's upset about the title, the thing is, if you feel like you move in that manner, it's not about the title. Absolutely not about the title when you're not even qualified. Well, I wouldn't say qualified. She doesn't actually have that.
Show it.
Yeah, that's not an actual title for her. So to try and hold on to that title and then act totally opposite of that title, but you're saying this is how you act, this is how you move.
Yeah.
Then I can understand why that shouldn't be your title, and it's gonna take some more of her healing and dealing with whatever it is she's dealing with before she can actually claim hold to who she is.
Yeah.
If that's who she is, like self-proclaimed doctor. That's fine if that's what you want to be, but move in a manner to where you're still professional, you're still respectful, because respect goes a long way, and you can't hold that title like that and move in the way she just acted in this video clip. So
I mean, it's just a way of, and you're right. It's another way of saying, her argument is, yeah, I don't have to prove to you guys that I have the credentials or the certificates of getting the doctor added to my name, but she said it's my experience, it's what I've done, which is also fair. But see, you just made a whole you were a hypocrite, because you're saying control yourself to all your people. You're saying do this, be kind, know when to do this, know when to act, right place, right time, and you just displayed the total opposite. So again, even though you don't have the certificate to say doctor, but you're saying you're proclaimed based on what you're doing, you're also not showing that, because that video did not show any of that you were doing. So again, I don't want to come down on her. I don't know her, but that clip really brought me here, and I wanted to talk about it and watch it, because it does again show examples of how we want to do right, we want to be better, we want to spread positivity, but we don't know how something can trigger us. So obviously something Torre did triggered her, and she didn't want to be accountable for that, so she reacted in a way that I'm sure she's not proud of, but it's also something underlining that happened with her that she has to figure out how to deal with it, So I get it, but truth hurts, and that's the beginning of healing, is accepting the truth, because we're not perfect. Why? Who in the world do not understand that we are all in work of progress? I don't know what I know from yesterday. Today, I may learn something tomorrow that I didn't know, but I can sit here and say, oh, I know everything. Forget it. Give me the job. I'm the person for it. And then I'll learn something tomorrow that I needed for the job. Right. You don't know that. So you have to be willing, leave the door open, and accept that life is going to kick you down. But if you don't know how to get up, you're going to have those trauma. You're just going to keep eating stuff and walking in the same direction, unhealed. And you're going to start hurting people, lashing out in ways that you're going to regret. And that's going to be on you. It doesn't matter if I provoked you. The matter is what you did and your reaction to it. And you need to find a way to deal with that. It's just the way it is for adults. Learn to heal, or you're going to have so much more trauma to deal with, because you're going to create more issues, more experiences, more relationships that are broken, more things that are going to make you sad, that's going to make you not trust people, that's going to make you not feel safe, because you are not accepting what you have right on your plate.
Right. And that's definitely a big thing, is being able to see yourself. And that's the problem. A lot of us can't see ourselves, because I can only imagine her looking back at this video.
Yes, girl.
Because as an adult, is a person who's calling herself a leader and leading other people, to act out in that manner, it's something else took over, and that was the trauma. The trauma, it was triggered, because with trauma, we can be fine with anything else, but you do that one little thing, and it's something that affects us trauma-wise, we're gonna flip.
Yeah.
Because I have a thing with that. If somebody tells me they're gonna do something, say if you claim you're going to pick me up or take me somewhere, and you don't, that triggers a whole different me, because as a child, that was done to me as a child. By my father. He would say, oh, well, I'm coming to get you this day, and he didn't show up. Oh, I'm coming to get you. I sat in my window in my living room for hours waiting on my dad to show up, and he never came. So now if somebody stands me up or something, that's you don't get to do that to me again. And you will probably not understand it that much, but I'm gonna flip out about you standing me up.
Yeah. I mean, that is honestly so true. And the segue is, how she mentioned, softy and all this stuff, because he really wasn't saying anything out of line, but he was defending himself. And a lot of times women tend to want to call men soft or gay when they decide to say something back. I'm not saying anything physical, none of that aggressive stuff. I'm talking about not letting women who are mentally abusive, because there's a lot of women who lash out and just think because they're not hitting them that their words don't hurt. You know, a lot of
words hurt worse than actual physical pain. Bruises will go away, but that mental word that someone has spoken to you can be lasting in your life.
Yeah, so, it lingers. It lingers, and it's just sad because, you know, there's a lot of people who struggle with mental health because they don't know how to deal with that. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't have cool friends who don't make them feel like, oh, I don't hear that soft shit. I don't want to hear that. I don't want that mushy stuff. It's like, I mean, yeah, I get it, but like somebody has to deal with that.
Yeah.
In some way. It's going to come out with your drinking. It's going to come out with your doing drugs. It's going to come out with you when you're upset about something small.
Right.
That's because you have real issues that you don't know how to deal with because you don't have enough people in your life that is willing to A, call you out on it, or B, be there for you when you want to talk about it.
Right.
And it's a sad thing because I have a lot of friends that are men, a lot of that are women. And a lot of times people tend to provoke it more as women in their emotions, and they're dealing with this. Like men don't deal with it. And that's sad because that's why you see a lot of men, and I, again, don't condone violence, are snapping and enraged and hitting women because they don't know how to deal with their emotions.
Right.
They feel like it's like Dr. Cheyenne said, that's salty of you. If they see a man reacting to something, they deem it as soft. And what man, especially a man who's a man, who wants to hear that? He don't want to hear that. You know, so it's like, I ain't gonna talk to you now. Now I ain't gonna open up to you. Forget it. Don't even worry about it. We're good. Nope. And that's why. And so it's sad and it's heartbreaking because, you know, I know a lot of people who are good people, but because they have so much trauma, they display it in the worst way. And people don't get to see a good side of them, but it's unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate, but like you got to do your homework, I got to do my homework, and they have to do the same for themselves. You know?
And I think that is a big thing, like just having that outlet, because that's what's wrong with a lot of us. We don't have that outlet, somebody to talk to, somebody to listen without judgment.
Right.
So that leads a lot of people to bottle stuff up inside.
Right.
Like, I mean, one of the things that I do, I'll write down a lot of things. Like, even when I had to forgive people who hadn't asked for forgiveness, I wrote their names down. I spoke their names out, and I released it. Because even if you don't have that person to talk to, like, sometimes you just gotta understand, like, it has to be released. You have to release it, but keeping it on the inside is not beneficial for anybody.
Girl, trust me, like, I have a working condition in my life that I'm working on, and it's my mouth. I am so sweet, I'm so nice, I'm so fun, but I know me. When I am mad about something, my mouth is lethal, and I say things, and it may be true, but it's just, I feel horrible because I know what it feels like for someone to cut you deep. I know what it feels like for someone to put you in a way where it's triggering something. So I don't want to do that to other people.
Right.
So I have to really work on what set me off. Like, what is that thing that provoked me to react this way? And it's hard to see that because you're in denial, like, no, forget it. I meant what I said and I don't care. And you're
everything seems right in your own mind.
It's like, it's not because why do I feel bad then? If I'm okay with how I reacted, why do I feel bad? Even though I'll be like, no, I don't feel bad, but deep down, I feel terrible. You know, once again, that's that image. Everybody wants to look a certain way to other people, but why do you care how you look to somebody else dealing with what you're dealing with internally? That makes zero sense to me.
Right.
It's the most backwards process ever. You're rather deal with this internally, it look like you're so cool on the outside, struggling inside because you don't want the outside world to think that you're struggling. That is the most backwards thing. And that's why we're in the world we're in right now. Right there.
Because most people do that. Like, you'll never, I mean, but I guess because also we live a judgmental world.
Yes, we do.
So, I mean, you want to deal with yourself, but that's going to take some growing up. That's going to take you understanding you can't worry about how other people view you.
Yes.
Because as long as you're concerned about what somebody else thinks of you, then you're going to continue to try and be something you feel like they're acceptive of.
Absolutely.
And that's not genuine. Genuine is you yourself. But you should be a healthy version of yourself to where healing should take place. Taking accountability should take place. But at the same time, you have to be you. You have to have your own opinion, have your own voice.
Right. So, right. I agree. So, well, you know what? I feel like we got a good flow. You know, we're digging deep. What I want to do now is move a little bit into something I like to incorporate in our show. It's called Run That Back with President Pat.
Okay.
So let me tell you something about me. When growing up, and it's maybe a little bit of the trauma, I didn't have a lot of male influence. I had all women, all girls. Yeah. And so I was always into like video games, TV, and music. And I've always been into music. And so anytime I'm upset, anytime I'm sad, anytime I'm mad, anytime I'm going through a breakup or I'm struggling, I turn music on. And so that has become a part of my life. In fact, I started writing songs, but I wanted to incorporate this into our show because I feel like music really does take you to a point in life, good or bad or indifferent. And it reminds you that maybe it's happening today, but tomorrow we can get through this. So I wanted to do something called Run That Back with President Pat, especially a nostalgic type of vibe. And what I'll do is I'll grab maybe 2 songs or 2 artists, 2 years or an era, and I kind of put together some music to see which one had your best, your favorite, what times you remember. And it's all just in fun. This is not about sales. It's not about #1 songs. This is not about popularity. These are just songs that I remember during that time. Now, during this first episode, I wanted to do 2001, 2002, because I remember 2001 was a very tough year. It was 9/11 happening, and that was something that culturally, globally, shook the world. You know, we were all scared. So we all remember where we were at that time. So music during this time kind of promotes it. And also Aaliyah passed away. And Aaliyah was one of my favorite artists of all time. So this year is sad, but it's also some of the best music that I remember during my teenage years. So we'll go ahead and check it out. And it's only 2 minutes per year. So 2 minutes of 2001, 2 minutes 2002. I did not get every song of the year in those years. Don't get in your feelings. This is just for fun. And also, I do not own the rights to all these songs. This is just for entertainment purposes, okay? So, without further ado, now we got all that mumbo jumbo out the way. Let's just sit back, breeze through this, and take some kickback on President Pat's Run That Back. All right.
Okay, let me see what we got.
Okay. I had so much fun doing this, but it's just like, you know, it's like, wow, it triggers you so quick to remember where you were in your life. And it's just so funny when it does that. So, all right, y'all ready? Let's get into it. Let's go. 2001. Lick you from your head to your toes, and I wanna God, baby, you're gone. All right, so what y'all feeling about 2001 so far?
I'm feeling 2001.
There's some memories there. It's so crazy how you remember specific moments. Okay, so now that you got a little feel of 2001, let's slide into 2002. Let's check that out. You ready?
Right back at ya. It's the world's most talented record label. Murder Inc. Oh, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way.
My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck.
Just give me the light and pass the job. Another buckle of more.
You cry, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet.
That's what it can.
You got it bad. Oh, hang up, alright back. Stand out my shirt, my head, oh my.
My damn.
Right? Oh, love that song.
Feel like one of those nights. See my days are cold without shit out of you. I'm hurting, mama. I know my heart can't take no more.
Hey guys, run that back with President Pat. So what we feeling? What we feeling?
I think I'm gonna have to go with the latter. I'm gonna say 2000. What was it? 2002.
2002. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2002.
So here's the thing about that. I already feel so refreshed just going through those stages of those memories. And 2001 and 2002 were special years. You know, we're coming out of 9/11, and we were in a very tough time in America, which not very different than we are today. But it's just interesting how much those timestamps stay in your mind. And it's a lot similar to the trauma. Like, it could be good things that you heard, some songs that brought you back to things that were hard for you to deal with. So I enjoyed putting that together. Again, these are just some of my favorite ones. If you want to hear the song in entirety, I'll leave my playlist on Spotify below, where you can hear every song entirely and all the other songs that did not make the cut. But I am here for that, and next time we will be checking out more. So let's go ahead and roll back into what we're talking about. So, you know, honestly, I was telling my best friend yesterday about this topic, and I kind of went a little bit on it, and she said she feels like I am hyposexual. Even she noticed that I don't really have a lot of reference to put myself in situations for sex to cope. Because I was standoffish about it because I didn't trust men in a lot of ways because
Yeah.
I saw how they treated the women in my family. And I had that stigma that, men did women wrong. And then I became an adult and I realized how women were doing the same thing to men. I was, my goodness, trauma everywhere.
Full of trauma.
The world is just trauma. Trauma. Everyone is so scary because energy is so real and it shifts so quick. It gets under that radar.
Right.
It comes in a form, in a nice, pretty package. And you're like, oh, you're different. Okay, come on in here. Invite them in. Great. Boom. That trigger. And it's like, and it's just sad because you see people who meet and you're like, oh my God, y'all are sparking. And it's like you guys are inseparable. And then a month later, they hate each other.
Right.
It's like, what happened?
Right.
What happened? Somebody had trauma in that relationship. One of y'all did, or both of y'all did. So I love that, I love that we can talk about that and try to break through those boundaries because I don't want to be, I don't want to experience sex in that way where I'm being vulnerable and giving myself to a person and they're going to trap me emotionally. That's a real thing. Like you said, physical things, you can get through it, you can work through it, but that emotional thing is hard to break because nobody is getting you through that but you. Right. That is the problem. That is the struggle. I can talk to you all day and vent to you and tell you the things you should do and give you the steps, but it's not going to mean anything if you don't know how to work through it.
Right. So absolutely.
Girl, believe me, it's a real thing here.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I learned because I am such a lover girl. I'm sadly a hopeless romantic. So me
all right, girl,
to people, I had to learn detachment. So that was something that I had to learn to put me in a safe place.
Yeah.
To put my heart in a safe place because people will love bomb you in a heartbeat. And you're like, yes, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. Then boom. They show you who they really are.
There's that thing again. There's that. So, I was going to ask you during our wind down confessions and questions, when it comes to hypersexual problems and how it reverts to sometimes people don't intend to do things, but they're coping. Mm-hmm. Do you see sometimes how that can refer to cheating? That some people are, navigating options to cope with. Yeah. Say a man, a woman, or whoever, a partner got into an argument with their spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're upset. And they go somewhere and have sex. It wasn't to go cheat. It's that I'm upset. And the only way I can get through this is going to do something, and it's not with you. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like that may be some reference to each other?
I can somewhat get the logic, but to me, cheating is a moral issue, not a trauma issue. If that's what you choose to do for your trauma, or is that if that's how you handle your trauma, then you could be single. You don't have to be in a relationship. But wanting to hold on to somebody in a relationship and then act this way, that's a moral issue because you're affecting everybody involved, people who didn't choose to be involved.
Exactly. So, yeah. And that's a dangerous game to play. You just never, and I'm going to look in the camera and I say this. You don't want to mess with people's emotions. Because you're going to get a version of them that you probably never knew. I don't care if they're the sweetest person in the world.
Right.
When you play with somebody's emotions, you're going to get a side of them that you are not expecting. So you better choose carefully how you treat people. Tread lightly. Because when you hear that term, it's always the quiet ones. Do you know why it's the quiet ones? Because they're containing themselves. They're working through themselves. But if you put them in a situation where they have to revert back to something they came from, you're going to get that. And I don't want to hear no complaints because you spark that. People put hard work into getting past certain things. Right. And if someone continues to bring them back from hard work that they have moved from, you're going to get a bad version of them. So you best believe, tread lightly, like she said, and think and choose and make sure you're sure what you want to do before you do it.
Right.
Simple as that. I mean, I'm saying, which brings me to my next question. What if you are with the person in a relationship with them and they continue to trigger your trauma? How do you deal with that relationship?
My way of dealing with it, I would first have a conversation the first time, because it can't be a continuing to trigger you.
Yeah.
So if we can have a conversation and it's not changed behavior within that conversation, then you're not the person for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I won't continue to stay in a relationship where somebody is intentionally doing something to hurt me.
Right.
Because at that point it becomes intentional. If
Right.
I've spoken with you about it and
Mm-hmm.
it's no change behavior, you're purposely doing what you're doing.
You're doing it. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. You're right. That's a really good point, girl. I mean, and I'm hoping that sometimes it takes people to see in somebody else what they may deal with.
Right.
We don't believe that the person that we're with or the person that we deal with on a daily basis is triggering us on purpose, but
Right.
it's the truth. And it's sad that they have to put us in situations like that. But, that's where you have to find growth in your life and know when to walk away and know when a relationship is beneficial to you or if it's going to hinder you. So,
Right.
well, I already told you my answer to this question. Would you classify yourself more so as a hypersexual person or hyposexual person, or neither?
I would say hyposexual, but no, neither. I'm going to say neither, because my thing is I'm attracted to people based on my attachment, based on
Connection.
emotional attachment to them.
Right.
Because
Right.
I could not think you're the most nice looking person, but if you're treating me well, then I'm going to end up becoming more attached to you.
Right.
Not to say physical traits do matter to me. I'm not going to say that, but
That's a little
but
bit.
just being the type to sleep with just anybody, I couldn't do that. I have to build up to a relationship with you for me to want to sleep with you. You could be the finest thing walking and I'm not going to be sexually attracted to you, because that's not how I'm attracted to people. So
Yes.
yeah.
This mic is hot. Preach, 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 preach. Because I am so grateful that I feel seen tonight with you, because I don't understand why that's so hard to understand with people. I don't get how you just don't realize that everything isn't always about sex. Sex is great, yes, but damn, can I at least know your last name, boo? I mean, god dang, we got all night. But
We ain't gonna have dinner or nothing first.
yeah. So I guess it's kind of good to talk, because you can kind of see the difference between hypo and hyper. Because
Yeah.
we can have sex. I never said that we will, but I'm not driven by that. I'm not trying to jump your bones because I am dealing with something. You are. So that's a good way to kind of identify the difference between those two. I like the spin.
Oh, sorry. I think because we lived in such a over-sexualized world that people think that's the norm, like that. Because everywhere you look, you're gonna see booty and everything is exposed now. So it's like that's the norm for most people. But no, that's not. that shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that I would in any time soon ever feel like I will revert to something like as hypersexual tendencies.
right.
But again, I've never really had a connection in a way where I was only with somebody for that purpose. So
Yeah.
who's to say, maybe a different version of me? I am a Gemini, so maybe that other Gemini ain't showed up yet.
Right.
We got a bunch of us in class, but I just haven't seen that side of me
They
yet.
still trying to figure some stuff out.
I have tried so many times stepping out of me and just, like you said, doing things that make me uncomfortable just to please people.
Right.
But I can't perform at my best if it's not authentic. And
Right.
that's
If it's not that connection, it's not going to be
it's
there.
not gonna work. Yeah, it's not.
And I
So,
think that's a hard thing for me too. On another subject, I think that's why a lot of times, which I shouldn't, I'll go back to my exes, which is, I mean, and not for relationship wise, for sexual pleasure, because I'm not wanting to be with somebody else or someone new. So, well, I'll say I used to go back to my
are you
exes.
familiar?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's always a familiar place. Exes 20 years ago, 10 years ago, it's just, we've always, I haven't ended relationships really bad with my exes, other than the one that I had to move out of state for. But
Right.
but other than that, so I kind of kept a friendship open with some of my exes. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was something I had to realize too, because I can't expect something new to come in if I'm still holding on to the old. So
Hello.
that's something I had to get past also.
Hello. I mean, so before we're moving into our final word and our shout outs, I do want to touch up on some things that are happening this month in June, which
Okay.
is a great cover because, and I lead into this segue because we're talking about sex, and I am gay, and it's Pride Month, and there's a lot of that in the community as far as sex, and a lot of gay people, and I'm really sorry to say it, but it's the truth. They are driven by sex because they are dealing with trauma
Yeah.
about their sexuality and who they are, and finding themselves and finding someone to make them feel safe and someone to make them feel validated. And believe me, I know it. And not everybody's going to get it. That's why so many people frown upon Pride Month and gay people and the whole LGBTQ community because they don't understand the depths of what really goes on. You see the majority of people in the gay community happy, vibrant,
Yeah.
social lives because they are in a mode of I don't want to spread any negativity of what people give to me. So I want to show the world how easy it is to be positive, but really down low, they are struggling in a lot of ways. Family
Yeah.
don't want to be around them. Friends don't want to be around them. It's a struggle. So I feel like covering Pride Month is very important because I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about it for those who don't know why we celebrate Pride Month. So Pride Month is a month long observance to dedicate the celebration of the LGBTQ community. It's also in contributes to lesbians, gays, trans, bisexuals, and the whole community. There was a huge riot that happened in 1969, which was called Stonewalls. It's basically off of a location that they were pretty much fighting the rights of gay people, treating them bad, dragging them, killing them. So for a good few weeks, there were riots everywhere, all background, black, white. They saw a shift in the world to fight for what's right. People are born in the world and they are here to live the life that they are living. And it's not their fault that the world don't want to embrace that. I get you, thump your Bibles all you want. But the Bible also said don't be cheating on your husband and your wife. Want to pick and choose what's right and wrong.
Adultery.
So right. So it's just so funny to me the frowned uponness that it comes with. But yes, we do celebrate Pride Month because it's for those people who went to protest. They have those parades to enter those streets to let them know, hey, we are not going to stand for this. And some people died for those rights. So that's why every month you see all these big parades. It's not just, oh, we're going to have fun and dress up and be cute, which we do, but also to celebrate what really happened and all those people who fought for us to have the rights that we have now. So shout out to all of my LGBTQ community. Shout out to Pride Month. I
Shout out
love
to y'all.
all of you. Definitely be safe out there because we are still in a world where we're very discriminated from. In fact, there are a couple of states like Arkansas and Utah that do not celebrate Pride Month. They actually changed the names to, get this, Fidelity Month or Strong Family Month. So they refused to say Pride Month. So, and here's the funny thing about it. Fidelity Month is basically a month where you dedicate faith, family, and the country. Isn't that something you're supposed to do every day?
Right.
So basically you're complaining that there's a month to celebrate Pride Month, but you want to dedicate 1 month on being faithful to your family. But that's here or there. But anyway, I did want to do a shout out to Pride Month because I am definitely a part of the community and I know the walk. So I just wanted to reach out and make sure that our voices are being heard on this platform.
Okay.
Who else I want to shout out? To my mom. I shout out to my mother because I feel like my mom, she taught me one of the most important things that I live by. She taught me how to treat others, which is very important if you want to try to be a light in this world. Or you could choose to be living in the dark. But she did teach me and instill me that I receive the energy that I give back. So shout out to my mother, Tammy Smith, for always being there for me. And my last shout out is going to go to my cousin, who is the daughter of my cousin Tiffany from my dad's side. Her name is Mona Leo. She is a Houston rapper. I'm not sure if you ever heard of her.
Okay, no, I haven't.
Girl, she is up and she is.
I'm gonna have to check her out.
She got a new song called Everything is Pinka, and it's fire. It's like references to Beyonce's old song Check on It.
Oh,
So
okay.
you have to check her out. But yeah, I just kind of want to support and create a platform on our show for those who are looking for a community like us, where we're offering just positivity, walking through our troubles and being honest. And that's where I'm at. So what do you got on your shout outs there? Destiny.
Okay, for me, for one, yes, my mother, I want to shout out to you, Mom, and my bonus dad, because he has definitely been a positive male figure in my life, and I definitely appreciate that. So my mom and my bonus dad, and as well as Juneteenth is coming up, so I definitely want to celebrate Juneteenth. So that's something. Two of my big things for the month of July. My mom just had a birthday on the 4th, so
let's go,
Gemini. Birthday.
And also shout out to all the Geminis this month. We are here.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. But yes, thank you for that. But if anybody wants any shout outs in future episodes, please make sure you let us know down below. We'll try to get you guys in and make sure we are spreading as much as we can in the world that we're living in, because Lord knows we need it.
Yes.
So if you don't have any more shout outs, I'll give the final word so we can wrap this episode up and show that we got through our very first episode. Destiny.
You got it.
I'm so proud. Okay. All right. So without further ado, we inhabit in a world that allows us to express our views on issues that may personally affect certain individuals. But just because you have strong feelings about a particular situation does not mean your perspective is the only one that matters. As a human being, it is essential to be aware on how your words can affect not just one individual, but many who share the same and similar challenges.
Right.
The world is large enough for everybody to live authentically and chase their aspirations and live in tranquility. Also, the decision to accept and reject it is yours. No one is obligated to meet your expectations. When you genuinely recognize the importance and value to your life and what it's worth, you will learn that there is no need to harper on resentment and dwell in the past. Instead, you will consistently try to maintain a positive outlook on life and your future. So that is something that I really want to make very clear to anybody who's watching us today, that it just takes time to really get in a comfort in your life where you're okay with your flaws. You're okay with new territory, because everything is scary when you're trying something different, when you're taking a leap, when you're shifting out of the norm. It's going to be scary, but you owe it to yourself to try. In a world where life is short, as we speak, tomorrow can be your last day. Do you believe that today you lived your best life? And if not, that's when you should start changing. Change your mindset. Be honest with yourself. Because Lord knows people are going to be honest with you. So, well, here we are. We're going to wrap up our first show. I'm excited. So cheers to that.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up, Destiny?
No, my final word would just be love yourself, set boundaries, and live on purpose.
Yes. Oh, come on now. Come on, word. Well, we appreciate everybody who checked out our first episode. We have lots and lots of amazing topics coming soon. In fact, if you guys would like to hear more topics between me and Destiny on our talk show or our podcast, please let us know. We definitely will be premiering this episode pretty soon, but you can catch new episodes every Sunday on all platforms. We will leave the links below. If anything else, be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself and stay true. Be safe out there, y'all. Till next time.